This is the retaining wall that I've been working on. Every month we buy about a dozen blocks and just work on it until hopefully it's finished. So here's an overview of our garden, main vegetable patch. As you can see, I put some pavers in this corner. I'm smothering grass with cardboard. And then these 4 boxes are where the zucchini's going. And then these 3 planters are tomato starts that we got from the store. Here's our zucchini starts, and they just came from inside. I actually moved some peas, and a little lesson we learned is actually popping them out. The egg carton gets pretty soft if you choose to use an egg carton, and then that way you just take the root ball with you and stick it in the ground. Versus cutting it out, we realized some of the plants were really struggling in our garden bed just to get through this little bit of cardboard. Believe it or not, it makes a pretty big difference. Here we got our herb garden, and as you can see, there's some cardboard that's really smothering the grass, but we just dug holes for the plants themselves, and the rest of the compost mulch on top is on the cardboard, and we're just smothering the grass. One big move, and we moved the plants, just moving the cardboard around, and we're really happy with how it turned out. It looks pretty awesome, and they're really healthy. They've been here I think over a week, and they look very, very good. Check this out, the Bampico bee house. We got some little mud. Bees have started moving in, which is really, really cool and exciting. And finally, we got some actual growth here in our gardens. The rocks is actually a little trick that I use to indicate there's no plants there. So these beds, even though they don't look like it, they do have seeds. And so we got little baby starts here, but the rocks are squares that are not used right now, but eventually that will be cucumbers. Over here, all the squares are used. So whether or not you see plants, there are at least seeds there. But we got spinach, lettuce, lots of leafy greens in this bed, so that's pretty cool and very exciting. We actually can see some growth happening in here in April in Zone 8B. Really, really excited about that. And we have realized if you want to sift compost, it doesn't hurt. In fact, we think it helps. If you can get some really fine compost, it really helps the seeds out if you're going to direct sow. This is the north end of our garden, which is actually downhill. And what's really cool about this is going to be our berry patch. Really excited. We got strawberries, raspberries. I built a new raspberry climber just with some wire going across. And we also have 2 blueberry bushes. One's very small, and a little huckleberry bush right over there. So we're really excited about this. And here where we're at, berries tend to do really well, so we're looking forward to it. It's a little embarrassing, but yes, this bed is totally overgrown with weeds and grass. It has a lot of nutrients because we put nice compost on it, and it's deteriorated, like gone into the soil and made it really healthy. And this garlic is doing great, but we're pretty much done. We've moved the raspberries, we've moved the rosemary bush out of here. All that's left is garlic, and we're just going to keep it here until it's time to harvest, and then we might be done with this garden bed altogether. We're trying to consolidate everything to make it easier on ourselves into the garden, because it's all the way over there. And that's our garden number 2. Garden number 1. So here it is, no longer a weed patch, but actually something useful and exciting. This here is mint. It's a beautiful, lovely flower, but not if you're trying to maintain a nice space. Their little roots will go everywhere. I mean, I was pulling up so many mint roots, it's incredible. So what we did is we kept them on the concrete, and we put them in a little potter, and this way we can contain them. If they start coming out, we'll see them. But this way they are contained, and they're not going to take over our bed, because mint is great, but too much of it is too much. So yeah, this is where, when we got the house, all the raspberries were actually along this concrete line right here. And we moved most of them back into the garden, but the leftovers here, I just put a little cage around, and hopefully, you know, we'll get some raspberries here as well. But if we ever need some, or some of those die, we can move these back over there. And yeah, this is kind of an overflow for raspberries. And here's a bunch of plants, big leafy guys, some of them just getting started. And you know, I'm not going to lie, I don't know all the names of these plants. A lot of them were gifts. This was a rose bush. It's been in a pot for a long time, and hopefully it's going to be happy there in the dirt. But this is kind of cool. This is another experiment of mine. This is just grass clippings, and I'm calling it poor man's mulch. So this is well dried out grass clippings, and they're yellow, and the newer grass clippings are green. And try to get them as dry as possible, and then you just kind of spread them around. Not too thick, because you don't want them matting together or molding. But as you can see, it actually looks, kind of adds, this is really poor soil, but just giving that grass mulch actually kind of, you know, it almost looks like hay. Like I said, it's poor man's mulch. It was free. We got lots of grass here, and I thought, why not use it? So the chickens are doing great. We get about 4 eggs a day. They started eating their food that I wasn't sure if they liked, but they don't get as many treats as they used to because they've pecked and done their job of clearing out their space so well. I think we're going to introduce them to their chicken run now, but I need to modify it, make sure they can't escape, because they do have wings and they might fly away, so I don't want that to happen. But there is a chicken run that is overgrown with weeds that they would love. Alright, lastly, we have our orchard, which is doing really good. We got our 3 fruit trees here, and this one's blooming. And if you can't see it, it's really beautiful. It's really something cool. All these flowers, they're pretty much weeds, but they look beautiful. Whether or not they're flowers or something that you would try to get rid of with a weed whacker or lawnmower, just looking at it, it's something that I think is really neat and special. Thank you guys for watching. That was our April update and lessons learned. Please stay tuned, because we'll do another one in May. Well, I don't want to make a promise too soon, but I think every month. What do you guys think? Do you want a monthly update? I think that could be pretty cool. Yeah, so thank you for checking out Purple Homestead, and see you guys next week.